Welcome guys to a brand new video on solo leveling Arise. Now this is the video that you guys have been waiting for, my first impression on this unit. Again, I have been testing this character out for I believe an hour, so of course more testing needs to be done, but it's pretty easy to see the damage it's easy to test the damage comparison between another unit. So I want to go over my first impressions regarding how strong this character is and whether or not you should summon for her straight away. Now one thing I would like to say, of course this testing is for A0. I think at A1 her damage actually increases by a bit, and I think A1 is pretty much the stopping point that many people want to be at, or you go to A3. So free to play A1, maybe free to plays can also go to A3 as well. But yeah, my showcase, my talking right now is about A0 for those of you guys who don't want to get multiple copies, because the next banner is looking hype. Like guys, the next banner might actually be crazy, so be careful whilst you're trying to summon for this unit. You might want to save resources for the next unit. And we also know about the S rank hunters that are coming very soon. So again, many people are skeptical about this character, so I'm going to go over my opinions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Show support to the channel by pressing the like button, subscribing, and there will be codes down in the comment section as well. And also support the channel by pressing the link to go over to the Netmarble page to go ahead and support this channel as well. Now let me talk about my opinions on this character. Is she a good unit? Absolutely. Is she broken at A0? Nah, she doesn't have much to offer at A0 besides damage. Now again, if I wanted to compare her to A0 Alicia, for my testing for A0 Alicia, A0 Alicia had more to offer in terms of shield, removing of debuff, freezing, even though the freezing wasn't that crazy. But Alicia at A0 actually offered a bunch of this stuff. And then we compare her as well to Troy, which I think is actually the best comparison for her. So my testing with her was comparing her to a A2 Troy, and they were both using the same set, which was the armed set, and I believe the executioner set for Yoo Soohyun. Again, if I butcher the character's name, I do apologize. Now I've seen, actually I will call her basically a Troy. She's pretty similar to Troy at A0, but she's way easier to play and way more fun. So in my opinion, I do think she's better than Troy at A0, just because of that. Even if the damage comparison is the same with Yoo Soohyun, it's a lot easier to output those damage. You don't have to be worried too much. But also Troy does have defense down for the entire team, so that's something you should take into account as well. But in terms of damage comparison, so my A2 Troy does of course have a lot of buffs on, well, because it's A2, he has more advancements, more stronger abilities that have been unlocked, so he does actually out DPS my Yoo Soohyun. However, I will say this, I don't think this character is on the same tier as Charhain and who's the other, Alicia. I don't think this character is as broken as those units at low investment. Again, I haven't tested her out at A3 and above, but of course she might have unlocked new abilities that increases her damage by like crazy amounts. But basically at A0, she isn't outputting enough or giving enough to the entire team to say she's better than Alicia or on the same tier as Alicia or Charhain. However, I do think like as you get more dupes, she actually will see a significant increase to her damage, and she will be okay. If I was to compare A5 Troy versus an A5 Yoo Soohyun based on the skill description, I think in terms of just dealing straight damage, the new character Yoo Soohyun will deal more damage than Troy. But of course, I haven't tested this out, so I might be just talking waffle. But wait for people to test that out. But at A1, I do think she's going to be extremely strong. Now, in terms of damage comparison between my A2 Troy, again, both of them are similarly built. She does want the new character Yoo Soohyun, who does want defense penetration. So I do think as you start getting better defense penetration, this character can keep getting better and better compared to Troy, because defense penetration is actually crazy, guys. Defense penetration ignores everything, and even if you're so defense penetration is even better than crit damage if you're going against enemies where you have significantly lower power and you are in the red. So if your team power is in red, yeah, defense penetration comes in handy way more than crit damage. And in general, like ignoring defense is always crazy, guys. Like literally, it's always crazy. So I do think she is gonna be like moving forward better than Choi. But for A0 at A0 Choi, A0 Yoo Soohyun, they are both the same. I just call her a new version of Choi, basically, an easier version of Choi. That's pretty much what I'm saying. So at A0, she's basically Choi. She's basically Choi. So if you have a Choi, if you're going to be summoning for this character, you know you only want one copy, you might as well just stick with Choi. Because he output the same amount of damage and he has supportive capabilities. But again, I do think this character is good, but for now, based on A0 testing, not too crazy. At A1, her damage will be good, of course, but she will need to output crazy amount of damage at A3 and above to be on the same tier as Alicia or Charhain. Even Charhain got a buff, guys. Charhain just became even more crazy. So yeah, that's something we need to test. And right now, we don't really have much concept where fire teams are needed, but I will say this: if your choice at A4, A5, and in the future we get a fire type buffer, and you only have an A1 Yoo Soohyun, you probably will just take off Yoo Soohyun and use Choi plus the new buffer plus Emma, and that will be your good fire team. But in the future, I do think if you'd say A5 her, Yoo Soohyun, and an A5 Choi, like it's easier to see, in my opinion, based on the kit and defense penetration being absolutely crazy. I do think she will be the go-to DPS character for a fire team when a new supporter character comes out, especially if that support character actually buffs off defense penetration by a bit as well. But of course, defense penetration debuff or buff will actually help your teammates, every teammate. It doesn't have to be specifically just Yoo Soohyun. So even Choi, like Choi Jin doesn't crit, so pretty much defense penetration is also going to be good for him as well. So in the future, if there's a support character that tries to capitalize on that defense penetration buff, then yeah, Choi will also benefit for that. But I haven't tested her out like A5. Again, Wales will do that, but A0, she doesn't seem too crazy. She's pretty much just Choi. That's as simple as that. I tested her out against, of course, the tower, the trial thingy. You know what I'm talking about, Battlefield trial. Against floor 25 against the bear. So basically Choi, my A2 Choi, was able to bring down the boss's HP to pretty much like 20 compared to 20 or like 30 compared to Yoo Soohyun, which brought it down to like, well, 39. So Choi brought down the boss's HP by like 10 like full bar of HP. So again, that's A2 Choi. So to me already, I'm just like, okay, I might as well just stick with Choi. You know, he's at A2, I might as well get A3, and then he become even crazier. But I'm gonna have to see if I should get A1 to see how truly crazy she becomes. And if at A1 she straight up out DPS's Choi at A2, then that's a good start. That's gonna be really, really good. But at A0, she's pretty much just Choi. That is pretty much it. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more content on solo leveling Arise. If you want me to tell you if you should summon, if you guys are just going for A0, my answer would be no. If you have Choi specifically, then yeah, no again. But of course, if you're going for A1, A3, A5, wait for other people to test that out. But I'm leaning towards a yes after like A3. But I'm pretty much just going to add her to the wish list later on when she gets added into the custom draw. It's been your boy AC Gamer. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm out.